Oh yes. Come on. Yeah. Dancer. Jammy jam. Love so wide, wider than the ocean. Love so high, the sky is the floor. Love so deep, it found me in the valley, lifted me from the valley. Oh, it's true love, love so strong, it carried me to my destiny. Love so sure that I had no choice but to believe. Love so right, it changed all that was wrong, gave me a brand new song. Oh, it's true love, and you love me still. And you always love came down, lived among us, showed us the way, and gave his life for us. But bursting from the grave, with fire in his eyes, consuming my whole life. It's true love, and love me still.
Never fails. It goes on and on like the seas. And your thoughts for me are outnumbered by the sand on the shores. And in the middle of my storms, the wind of your Holy Spirit keeps me afloat. You're never out of place. You're always seated on the throne, waiting for me to take my rightful place, right where I belong, and right where I belong, and where I once placed my burdens will be replaced by my crown. Thank you, my King, for never letting me down.
Hey guys, welcome to our Worship Missions Marathon. My name is Andrew. Scotty just shared a great word. I'm the leader of the dance team here at EJM, and Scotty's the leader of Scribe, our rap team. And we encourage y'all highly to donate to our missions funds. We're going overseas to quite a few places this year. We're going to Israel, we're going to Nigeria, and we're going to Belize. And the information to donate is in the comments there below. So if y'all feel led, please donate. We're looking forward to bringing $400,000 for us to all go, and we're so excited. We believe God has called us to the nations, and here we are worshiping. I'm gonna do a dance piece. It's something new, kind of out of my comfort zone, but I'm here to switch it up. So I encourage everybody watching online to turn up as I praise the Lord.
As American culture is secularizing, we have an opportunity for this to become much easier for us. The church is being disestablished from the rest of the community. It's already happened in some parts of the country. It's happening now.
The world is crazy, it's all a sign of the times. They think we crazy, they say we're out of our minds.
It's happening now everywhere.
There's something we're facing, I'm hoping you know. The weekend is safe, it is everywhere, every time, man, it I look over show. Some people are searching, they hurting, they're looking for purpose, but not in religion. They say it don't work, in particular Christians are using the church as a business. They're tired of the silence, they're turning about it. Some people just don't want to talk no more. The culture is shivers and virgins and Arizona in New York and in Baltimore. Look at Chicago with real music, young as they gun and you got about it. Shout out the churches, the deacons, the trick, being the witness and making it. Let's switch for a minute. Remember the case with Governor Pinson in the end. They challenge religious liberty, eventually putting our faith in the slum. The LGBT community collectively set up a discrimination. All of the sexual orientation. We can afford to ignore what we face. The world is crazy, it's all a sign of the times. They think we crazy, they say we're out of our minds. They're applying the pressure, but keep respect. That we do not wrestle with people, but demons are scheming to reject the mess. So the kingdom of heaven progresses, so Satan's regime is extremely frustrated. But for God and His wisdom to put us in this position, we should think it's a blessing. We're tired of the shaking that this is a Christian nation. Finally, that culture wall is falling, and the gospel will flourish. Authentic conversions, all victories, older than culture war. That's why we connect with the people and help restrain evil through policy shift. Christians who get it is socially driven. All cause we know it's a holistic mission. Now let's switch for a minute. We gotta consider that this is a post-Christian nation or a pre-Christian nation. The point is to say that the people don't know where we stay. So we can't just be positive. Gotta give us the reason we believe in the fact. The biblical way that our kings is shaped with the kindness that backs up our articulation. The world is crazy, it's all a sign of the times. They think we're crazy, they say we're out of our minds.
The church becomes increasingly not reflecting the kingdom of God within our church structures, and then for our church structures to form the sorts of consciences that are able to speak to the outside about questions of the common good and public justice in a way that doesn't lead us inward and it doesn't lead us outward, but it leads us forward. That gives us the opportunity to maintain distinctiveness and engagement at the same time.
Hello everyone. My name is Cam. I am part of the dance team as well here in EJM. I'm so glad that whoever is watching, so glad that you guys made it part of your day to be with us today. I'm going to be doing a piece. It's called You Are a Memory. It's an instrumental, so there's not much words, but basically I was inspired by this song. I've gotten to the point where my past needs to be exactly that, a past and a memory. So throughout this piece, you'll be seeing a lot of my own journey, a lot of my own journey, just the heartache, the pain, the joy, everything that I've encountered from, my past until now. So hopefully you guys enjoy.
Tell them who that is, they may not know.
Oh, yes, okay, so a little bit of my testimony. Growing up, I grew up in a very good family. I had a mom, she was a single mom for quite a while because my dad, he went to jail for trying to provide for me and my older brother. And my mom, she was a hardworking woman. Hardworking, and she took care of her kids. And one summer, I was molested by my counselor at a summer camp. It happened a couple times that summer, and basically it led me down a path of destruction. I lived a homosexual life for about 4 or 5 years. I was depressed. I just walked this lack of confidence and the lack of identity, and then I was invited to a worship night, and then I was saved and delivered. God has just always managed to show up in my life now. He basically gave me a choice. Either I can cry about my situation, or I can deal with it on my own willpower, or I can give it all to him, and he can lead me to freedom. He can lead me to into a life of happiness and abundant joy. So yes, this dance is gonna be really dear to me. So hopefully you enjoy, and you all enjoy.
Let them use you.
My name is Scotty, and I'm 23 years old. And my testimony starts, my father was in my life. I would go see him every now and then. Growing up, I'd go live with him for the summer, for the school year, and it was just really back and forth like that. He ended up getting into a car wreck because of him. He was drunk and he was coming home from the bar, and he looked to his girlfriend at the time. Her name was Becky. And he was like, "Becky, do you want to see God?" And she's like, "Of course I do, Scott. You know, I want to see God." And so he began to grab the wheel, and he just jerked it, and the car wrecked. And they got him for attempt of or something. I don't know what the charge. I didn't see him for those next 6 to 7 years. The next time I seen him, I was 15 years old, and I was in trouble because growing up, you know, I didn't have nobody knew the Lord. If I went to church, it was because the bus came through my little neighborhood, and you know, they were inviting people to church, giving out candy and stuff, and we didn't have nothing else to do, so we got on the bus and we went to the church. And it's so funny, every time I went, you know, it's the same feeling that I feel now. And, you know, it's almost like nostalgia because, you know, the presence of God is just so powerful. And, you know, they'd ask me if I wanted to get saved, and I'd say, of course I do, you know, yes, I want to get saved, and I'd pray the little prayer, and I'd go back to my life. A good job, she had the same job since she was 18 years old, and so my whole life, she worked that job faithfully. My stepfather was a you know, drug dealer. He had nice cars, a couple houses, sold a lot of drugs, and so he was always in and out. I remember there'd be times where I'd hear him coming to the house, and I'd just stay upstairs in my room because, you know, I didn't want to encounter him. I remember there were a couple instances where he punched me through a wall one time. He found out that I was stealing his drugs that he was selling, and so he got pretty upset about that. And I remember as he's beating me up and down the stairs, my mom comes to try to break it up, and then they get into an argument, and he just is demanding that she should be on his side. And she's torn between the two because this is her husband, but this is also her child. And I remember I went into the restroom that she was in, and she asked to see the bruises on my back, and I cried, and, you know, I told her, I said, "Mom, this isn't your fault." And she blamed herself. She hated herself for it. But I love my mom, and I would never blame her for the life that I lived. I ended up moving out at the age of 15. Like I said, I saw my dad for the first time in 7 years when I turned 15. My stepdad, Frank, was tired of me, and so he bought my bus ticket. And at 15 years old, I was on the Greyhound for the first time in my life. Went down there, started living with my dad. My dad's always been an alcoholic my whole life. And the first thing we did together was steal alcohol from the food line. I've never seen one of those before. I went to North Carolina. It's just a regular grocery store. And so we go to this food line. We steal 330 cases of Milwaukee's Best Ice. I remember being drunk for the next week and a half, just fighting with my dad, drinking beer. He's wanting to talk about the past, I'm wanting to let it go. We're both drunk and emotional, and it's just crazy. And I told my mom I couldn't do it, I needed to come back home. And when I came home, I didn't really have a home to come back to because my stepfather didn't want me in the house anymore. So I started running the streets. I stayed wherever I could stay. I lived with whoever would let me live with them. I lived with girls. I lived with an uncle who my payment to stay there was robbing houses. So we'd rob houses and we'd steal whatever we could out of the house. And I'd give it to him, and he'd, in return, get money for the items that we had stolen. And my cousin Jeremy ended up getting locked up for the robbery that was tied to 21 different houses. I just remember just living this life of just not having a purpose, not really knowing who I am or where I belong, and trying to figure it out. I ran to everything. I ran to drugs, I ran to women. I gave myself away, gave my body away as payment to have somewhere to stay. And this was all I knew. I mean, to me, I didn't even know I was lost. I thought this was just life. You know, everyone has struggles. Everyone's life is different. Everyone has pains. And I thought, you know, as long as I had friends and I had money and I had women, then I had something. But really, I had nothing. And the more that I sought for the peace and the joy that I was looking for, the more empty I felt, because it was like when I had more, I had depressed I became, the more lonely I felt.
Wow.
And I just remember I was tripping on acid, and I'm like, man, I'm tripping. This is not fun. I'm like, this is not fun at all. I don't know why I did this. I'm like, God, I need you to restore my mind. I'm going crazy, and I feel like I'm dying, and you know, I'm just praying to God. I'm like, God, if you would just restore my mind, then I promise, like, I'll leave all this stuff alone. And I feel like in that moment, as I'm tripping, I see this choice that I had. And it was, I'm standing outside and I'm looking down this road in my hometown, and it was like, I could walk down this road and I could be lost forever. People would see me driving by. They'd be like, oh, that's so-and-so, you know, he's stuck in a permanent acid trip. He thinks he's a glass of orange juice or something. And if he spills over, he's gonna die. and so, I'm like, God, I don't want to be that, and I don't want to do that. I think I'm going to take myself inside, and I'm going to mean what I say to you. And I go inside, and I'm coming down off drugs. I tried to sleep, and it's like I can't sleep. You know, my mind is just racing. This drug is just having its way with my mind and with my body, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And I feel like I heard the Lord start to speak to me, and he was like, you're fighting so hard. You're not letting this drug consume you. Easy.
Yeah.
And coming down off this drug, and I'm out at this projects. Because there was, you know, I had some people out there, they'd let me sleep on their couch from time to time. And we're just out there hanging out and smoking a joint with Grant. And I'm like, man, I'm tired of living this way, Grant. I'm just having a regular conversation with him. Like, I've lived this way for 5 years. I'm 20 years old now. Been on my own since I was 15. And I don't want to do this anymore. You know, I don't want to live another 5 years. And I'm just living off of girls. I'm bouncing around, selling drugs here and there, really just to do drugs and to get drunk. Not really making no money. I'm like, man, I can't do this anymore. And it was so weird. It's like God heard my heart, and he knew that I was really done. He knew I was finished with this life. And in that moment, it was like something shifted, and God was like, okay, if you're done, then I'll take you out of this. And through a series of events with Grant and his family, introduced to Eddie James Ministries. And I remember convincing my best friend to go because he didn't want to go. I talked him into it, and I asked if I could just ride with him just to drop him off in Parkersburg, West Virginia. It was 2 hours away from my hometown. And I was not expecting to join or to be a part. I honestly had no idea even what it was. I've never been to a rehab or anything like that. So we get there, and we go up these stairs, and I meet this guy named Joel Fisher. And, you know, he's introducing Grant, they're talking and stuff, and I'm just looking at this place, man, and there's so much joy in my heart. Like, I'm happy for Grant. I'm like, man, this place is amazing. You got like 30 beds in here. I'm like, what's going on, you know? I'm just like, man, I'm so happy that Grant gets this opportunity. I remember just thinking to myself, like, man, if I could just sleep in the bathtub or something, you know, like. And we were getting ready to leave. And Grant's grandfather looks to Joel, you know, and he says, this is Scotty, this is his friend. He's in the same position as Grant is, and he really has nowhere to go. And he asked if there was any way that I could join. Joe calls Tim Kraft. And Tim Kraft's yes was my yes, because when he asked if I could stay, Tim Kraft said, of course he can. I couldn't believe it. I came into the ministry with the clothes on my back is all that I had. I've been wearing the same socks for like 3 weeks. Been wearing the same drawers for like 3 weeks. I didn't have nothing. I didn't have a place to shower, clothes to change into. And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I didn't deserve that opportunity. I did nothing for it. And my life was changed. And it's been a journey. It's been hard, because when you become a Christian, you have to face the darkness. You have to face all your flaws, all your pain, all the shame and the guilt. It doesn't just go away. There's a process that God heals you, He purifies you, He sanctifies you, He calls you to Himself. But in order to do that, there's things that He has to remove. There's things that He has to heal. Because when God created us, the enemy tried to destroy us. He tried to pervert us. And so growing up, everything I knew was wrong. It was all lies. And so I had to go through a process of edifying and renewing. And it's been a beautiful journey. It's been a crazy journey. Ups and downs, highs and lows, unknowns. And exactly what we're doing this for. The mission trip. First time I went to Israel, it was about 6 months in to my journey in EJM. And it changed my life forever. From the payments and the support, from people supporting, it blows your mind to see people invest into you like that. To see people believe in you like that. To see you come from the things that you came from. To not see value in yourself. To see all these people want to invest in you and invest into your life. It does something so special inside of you. And then just to look at it, it's like, man, I went from having nowhere to stay to staying all over America.
Come on.
You know, to going 14 hours away on a plane. I mean, you watched like 4 movies on that plane trip. It's the longest plane trip ever. It's like, it's crazy. I went to the other side of the world. And, it's just like, in my mind, it's like, yeah, I know it was the support of people and Eddie James, but it's God. Yeah. It was God. Only God could do this. Yeah. And the fact that He would do this for me just shows me how much He loves me and how much He loves all of us. And so I really want to thank everyone that's viewing and everyone that supports Eddie James Ministries, supports the mission, supports us. I just want to thank you guys so much, because it's changed my life. It's changed so many lives of those that have came through this ministry.
Let's clap for Scotty one more time. That was great. I'm gonna pray right quick, and my prayer is gonna be much. introduction to this next piece. God, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for seeing value in us, God. When we were in our dirt, God, when we were in the pits of the world, God, you seen us and you saw value in us and you brought us out, God. And you are molding us into what you want us to be, God. We give you permission to be the potter, God, and we are the clay. We surrender, God. We say we are yours to work on. Your way is so much better than our way, God, and we surrender our way to you. Thank you, God, for being the potter.
It's always hard from the beginning. Was do your goodness, the clay in your hand. Even though it was ugly and filthy, you called it the best kind. You called me the best kind. So I sing hallelujah to the one who came and made me new. Hallelujah to the body who came and made me new. Thank you. So put me on your wheel now. Spin me around, spin me around. Place me in your flame now. Until you see through me, I'm ready to come out. And all that was wrong, it won't be broken after this. No, not after this. And all that was dead is finding life again. And a true friend that so happens to be a fire. Oh, hallelujah to the fire who came and made me. Hallelujah to the fire who came and made me. Thank you. And make them beautiful. Oh, you take broken things and make them beautiful. Oh, you take broken things and put them back together again. Oh, you take broken things and make them beautiful. Oh, you take broken things and make them whole again. Oh, you take broken things and make them beautiful. Oh, you take broken things and put them back together again. Oh, you take broken things and make them beautiful. Oh, you take broken things and make them whole again. Oh, you take broken things and make them beautiful. Oh, you take broken things and put them back together again. So I'll say hallelujah to the God who came and made me new. So come and go with me to the potter's house, and you best believe, oh, you'll make something good. Oh, you'll make something. I know you will. Yeah, make something good. Oh, you'll make something good.
go, Scotty.
All right now.
Jesus, the reason I'm breathing, no matter the season, I'm always believing that he's never leaving. The devil's deceiving, I know he's misleading, but he's not achieving what he set out to do. Cause I know the truth, and I know the way. He laid down his life, so I could be saved. So I give him praise. Can we give him praise? Can we lift his name? Can we give him praise? Can we lift his name? Let's lift his name. Let's lift his name. Let's lift his name. Let's lift his name. It's not for the fame. It's not for the game. He took my shame and he took my guilt. It's something that he built inside of me. So I will confide in thee. I cannot do this on my own because I tried, but the devil is a lie. And Jesus Christ is alive. He saved my life, he paid the price that nobody else could pay. Now I'm living my life like an escapade. Feeling like an Eskimo, cause my heart was cold and it was stone. But he gave me a new heart, gave me a heart of flesh. And now I'm past the rest. Call that rest in past, rest in peace. That's R.I.P. to me. Now I'm living a dream at EJM and I'm feeling like the man. Man, I know that God has got a plan. Even when I don't understand what the plan is, and I manage to damage the plan. It can get a little rough going down the road, but Jesus in his toes, so I don't gotta worry about running back. I ain't never running back to my old life, but I will go always. Cause I know if I fall, then he will catch me. Look, please don't test me. Never wanna test me, please don't tempt me. I used to feel so empty, but now I got the Holy One in me. Yeah.
Hey guys, I want to welcome Maisha to become minister. She has something to share and she's going to dance. Very close.
Hi everyone, the song I'm going to sing is called This Altar by Psalmist. Yes. This altar. Alright, so for a couple of years now, I've been holding on to a lot of past hurt, anger, hate, and unforgiveness. With those things, I will go out in church and minister to people with those things on my heart. Instead of, going out ministering from a place of worship and stuff. Yeah. So as I was ministering, I would be giving out unforgiveness, hurt, pain, hate, anger. Yeah. So on Friday, during our ministry training worship night, the Lord spoke to me and said, yes, He did. You are no longer going to be holding on to anger, hurt, pain, hate, and unforgiveness. Yeah. Put those things on the altar and never pick them back up again. Okay. Yeah. So once everybody went to sleep, I walked outside and started dancing, just let it.
There you go.
So I encourage everyone that is watching and everyone in this room to write things down that's on your heart that you've been holding on to, and just put them on the altar. Right. And back up to you, because y'all don't need
I'm building an altar. Lifted arms this altar, bend the knee. So you see high above a broken heart. You can feel with us. So here's his heart. I build an altar here. It's bruised, it's scarred. Still I build this altar here. Father, consume me. Come move me. Breathe life into me. Here on this altar. Father, consume me. You can move me. Breathe life into me. Here on this altar. Father, consume me. You can use me. Breathe life into me. Here on this altar. Father, consume me. You can use me. Breathe life into me. Here on this. So here are these hands. They haven't done so well, but you were there. Even when I made my bed in hell. So here's my life, here's my life. I give it all to you. Consuming fire, consuming fire. Consuming fire. Oh, Father, consume me. You can use me. Breathe life into me. Here on this altar. Father, consume me. You can use me. Breathe life into me. Here on this altar. So Father, consume me. You can use me. Breathe life into me. Here on this altar. Father, consume me. Use me and breathe life into me. Here on this Father, breathe life into me. Here on this altar. Here on this altar. Here on this altar. Here on this altar. I lift my hand. Here on this altar. I lift my hand. Here on this altar. I yield my heart. Here on this altar. I give my heart. Here on this altar. Oh, and I lift my hand. Here on this altar. And I lift my hand. Here on this altar. So Lord, use here on this altar. Lord, use my hand.
everyone who's willing and everyone who's able to find a space for like both of your knees here. If you're able, just find a space to kneel. It's my heart.
Yeah.
I asked Andrew, thought he was in charge of this segment, or else I would text him. My heart is so moved, I can't even put it into words. 5 years ago, I sat in a church on the front row right in the middle. First time I met Eddie that night and the team. And I remember Andrew dancing that night to As the Deer Panted for the Water. And in the middle of it, he fell to the floor and started weeping. From the time that they came on the stage, I couldn't stop crying. To watch God take broken lives and bring such amazing restoration. I can't even put it into words. And even today, that same first time feeling, you know how you have a first time feeling? The moment that they started dancing, the moment they started speaking, it just hit me again. And I just want to encourage you. This is such good ground. I want to encourage you to sow. Just ask God what he wants you to give. Paul even says, if you don't hear anything, just give whatever in your heart. And God will bless you on that. It's not even a thing of sowing to reap. It's that this is such a fertile ground. And as you give, and as you pour yourself through finances into all these wonderful young people and into Eddie's ministry. When you go to Israel, even though I'm not there physically with you, I'm there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And every life that's transformed gets laid on my account.
Yes, sir.
Just like it gets laid on your accounts. And guys, I want to encourage you. New doors are going to open. You're going to step out into new areas. You're going to do things you've never done before. You're going to see so many miracles. Don't wait till God says, pray for that person. Just step out and do it by faith. If nothing happens, pray for the next person. But expect God to show up and expect God to do what he said he would do. And if you're watching today, I just want to encourage you to sow. It's great ground. And as you sow, I promise you, that you will become so blessed. Connect with them. Connect with their social media. Watch what they're doing. Even when I'm not present with them, I watch what they're doing, and I just sit in my car, or my living room, or wherever I'm watching, and I just rejoice. But I want to thank God today for all the lives that have been transformed. And we're not trying to build Eddie up. He's just being obedient. He's just being obedient to the call that God's put on his life. So I just wanted to say this and share this with you today. Thank you so much for letting me be part of this whole thing. Amen. You guys are family. Love you guys.
So I kind of want to just press into this moment. I'm going to let it play, and if it's your desire just to surrender more, I encourage y'all to come up here and just cop a spot on the floor and get it in with God. So God, here we are surrendering. We lay down, God. Here we are, God. We want you to breathe and move in us, God.
Yes, God. Here on this song, I lift my hand. Here on this song, I lift my hand. Here on this altar, I yield my heart. Here on this altar, I give my heart. Here on this altar, oh, I lift my hand. Here on this altar, and I lift my hand. Here on this altar, so Lord, use my hand. Here on this altar, Lord, use my hand. Who's willing, everyone who's able, to find a space for like both of your knees here. If you're able, just find a space to kneel.
fresh yes today, God. Anything that says no in us, rip it out, God. We surrender everything in us, God. If we think it's good, we surrender it. We hold on to nothing, God. We lift our hands and we say, have everything. Have every part of us, God. God, we don't want to give you a partial vessel. We don't want to own any part of us, but we want to be completely in your hands, God. We surrender completely. We are yielded completely. We lift our hearts as open as the skies. We will keep no doors closed to you, God. Everything is open. Run wild in us, God. Set us ablaze for your glory. God, I thank you for a lifestyle of surrendering. And I thank you for not leaving us dry, God. When we surrender, God, you take us to higher heights than we can ever imagine, God. And keep us humble, God. God, you want willing vessels. Here we are. Here we are, God. We are willing to let go. We are willing to move forward. We are willing, God, to go after your glory. Highlight anything else that we're holding on to, Lord. And give us grace to let go. Grace us, God. For your grace is so sufficient. It's so beautiful, God. Your grace is so beautiful, God. I thank you for your presence in this room, Lord. Thank you for your presence. We thank you for your glory. Thank you for your love. It's so unashamed, so unconditional. You are so unashamed to love us in spite of us, in spite of our flaws and our failures and our weaknesses and the hell that we've been through. You look at these muddy, dirty, clay and making something so beautiful. So I thank you, Jesus. I thank you, God, for sending your Son, made fresh. We are walking revivals, walking testimonies of your glory, of your power, of your mercy, your grace, your love, your sovereignty. The Lamb that was slain, he overcame the grave so that we can be saved. And so we praise the name of the Most High, the Holy One, the only one holy, the one and only. There is no one like you. We worship you in reverence and awe. Gracing us with your glory, and I pray that you will put a passion in us, God, a relentless passion to go after your glory no matter what, God. We will pursue you, God. We will pursue you, God. We want to taste you. We want to smell you, God. We want to feel you, God. As you feel us, help us feel you in the Spirit. Help us hear you in the Spirit. I'm going to do one more dance piece, and then we're going to have Alan share his testimony. This song is called For Your Glory. Well-known song. This is lift your worship.
Lord, if I find favor in your sight, Lord, please hear my heart's cry. I'm desperately waiting to be where you are. Across the high desert, I'll travel near or far for your glory. I will do anything just to see you, to behold you as my king. For your glory, I will do
Let's give it up for Andrew. Alan, thank you so much. So we're gonna have Alan share his testimony. It's amazing. Love my brother.
All right, so my name is Alan Clinton. I'm 29 years old, originally from Alabama. When I was younger, I didn't really get along very well with my dad. I never felt like he was interested in the details of my life. And then in high school, I went through a bad breakup with a lady that just caused me to look at myself and just see a big problem, to see an issue. And basically when I finished high school, I was just at the most broken place of my life that I'd ever been. But I was also headed to college to play soccer, so I had the most freedom that I ever had. But I was the most broken on the inside. And so I ended up going to college, and then I found alcohol. And when I found alcohol, it seemed to be the answer that I was so desperately searching for. Because when you have that brokenness, you have that hurt, you have that pain, you just look for relief. You just look for relief. That's all you're searching for. That's all you want. You just want that pain to go away. You just want to be able to see yourself in a way that's pleasing. Because when I would look at myself, all I would see was brokenness. All I would see was a mess up. All I would see was hurt. That's all I would see. And so when I found alcohol, that went away. The insecurities, they went away. The pain, it went away. Or so I thought it did. Basically, I just couldn't see it in the moment. It distracted me from it. And so I went through rehabs. I went to probably 6 or 7 different rehabs. And when you go to a rehab, there's times where you share. And then I would hear other people's stories. And I would think, oh my gosh, this person went through, their parents were divorced, or this person lost a family member, or this person was cutting into all these different things. And then I would look at my story and think, I definitely can't share anything that I'm going through because look at everything they're going through. And so many times we go to compare, right? And that's such a trick from the enemy. The enemy wants you to compare. All he wants you to do is to focus on your insecurities, to focus on your lack. Because if you focus on your lack, you never understand your true strengths. And if you never understand your true strength, you'll never walk in that, and you'll never put out the gift that God created in you. The enemy loves to get you distracted on your lack. If he can do that, then you'll never walk out the purposes God has for your life. There's a man in the Bible named Paul. If he would have only focused on what he didn't have, if you looked at Peter, he looked at what God had given him. So focus on the things that God has given you. Focus on the things that God is doing in your life, because your story is important.
Right.
The issues that you face are important. God wants to walk you through every ounce of that, every detail of it, not only because you're his son, not only because you're his daughter, and he wants to heal you and make you whole, but he knows that he's placed certain things inside of you that will only come out if you continue on your process. And one of the things about process is we're all in process. God was teaching us about process from the very beginning. We all believe that God is all powerful. He's strong. He can do anything. But he didn't create the world in one day. He did it in a couple of days, because even from the beginning, he was teaching us about process, the importance of process. Everything you do is a process. Every step you take is a process. Everything you do, everything in your day concerns process. So allow God to be in your process. Allow him to walk with you in your process. Not only did he create the process, he knows everything that's going on in your process. So many times we want to skip steps. We want to hurry. We want to rush. But then we don't get everything that we have in that step. But if we allow God in, if we allow him to direct us, if we allow him to guide us, not only will he build that foundation, not only will he go in the crevices, in every little part of our heart that's hurt, every part of our heart that's longing, every part of our heart that is just reaching out, feeling like there's nothing that we can do. He wants to be a part and in all that. So just allow him in your process. Allow him to walk you through it. He'll place you in places on purpose, even when you don't recognize it, even when you don't see it, even when you don't know why. He has his hand all over your life. We can all, everyone here, can just look over instances in their life where he was all over it. When we didn't deserve it, when we didn't ask for it, when we turned our back on him, he still showed up. So how much more will he be invested when we say yes? How much more will he be invested if we allow him in, if we give him permission to walk this out with us? The thing about they did the potter's wheel, the thing about the potter's wheel is when you're on the potter's wheel, yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it hurts. Yes, there's times where it just feels like all you want to do is jump off. But the thing that we forget about is he's holding us the whole time that we're on the potter's wheel. He doesn't put you on there and just leave you. He holds you as he pulls stuff out. He holds you as he plucks things out. He holds you as he forms things inside of you. You never left his hand.
That's right.
The enemy will try to get in your mind and tell you that you're all alone. You're by yourself. You're not good enough. You're not worth it. You messed up too many times. But you never left his hand. He's so amazing. He's so awesome. And one thing she said is she came to the altar and she left it there. And one of the things I did as God was taking me through process, a lot of the times I would take steps forward, but then when he was going to pull things out, I would run back and pick up that stuff that he was pulling out. Because it's not that I like the brokenness. It's just that was the identity that I knew. And I didn't know who I would be without that. Yeah. So many times we get so used to our mess ups. We get so used to our insecurities. We get so used to all that brokenness that we just claim it, and that's who we become. But then he wants to come and remove that identity. He wants to come and form a new one that we just get so stuck in what we used to be. We get so safe in that broken. If we just let him in, we let him do what he wants to do. Not only will he pull us out of it, but he'll make us brand new. He'll restore all that we've lost. And then after he pulls you out, he doesn't just pull you out for the sake of pulling you out. He pulls you out because he has somewhere for you to go. And so now, as God has pulled me out, I'm in the process of learning the responsibility that comes with healing. Because if you look in the Bible, all the time when Jesus healed somebody, he would say, reach out your hand or pick up your mat and walk. There was a responsibility connected to your healing.
Right. That's good.
So God, I just thank you for what you're doing and all my brothers and sisters here. God, I thank you for what you're doing all over this world, for anyone who's watching. God, I thank you for every place of brokenness that you see in our hearts. I thank you for every place of brokenness that you see in our minds. I thank you for every place of brokenness that you see in our bodies. And God, we just give that up to you today, God. We want you to restore us to the identity that you've given us, God. No more times are we going to focus on our lack. God, we're going to focus on you. No more times are we going to focus on our inability. God, we're going to focus on you. No more are we going to focus on what we don't have or what we used to have or what we used to be. God, we're going to focus on who you have called us to be. We're going to focus on you. God, we trust you with everything that we have. We trust you with us. We trust you with our hearts. We trust you with our minds, God. We trust you with our futures. We trust you with our families, God. We trust you to be you. No longer will we step up to try to stand in your role. No longer will we try to hide the things that you already see. No longer will we try to hide the things that you already know. God, we say yes to you today, and we say yes to you molding us. We say yes to you pruning us. We say yes to you building us. God, we say yes to you disciplining us. We say yes to you making us into the men and women that you created us to be. Teach us how to steward the healing that you've already given us. Teach us how to steward the walk, the joy, the peace that you've already given us. Teach us how to steward all the many magnificent gifts that you've already given us. God, we don't have to worry anymore because we're yours. We don't have to wonder anymore because we're yours.
Come on, somebody praise the Lord. This has been amazing. Come on, praise the name of Jesus. Wow, I am so proud of Andrew and Scotty running this amazing segment for our day today of missions worship, our missions worship marathon. The dances, the rapping, the testimonies, they have been awesome. Have you enjoyed this? Come on, give God a praise. I've just been like a crybaby. This is just so amazing. So listen, we're getting ready to do one more song. Excalibur's going to come and dance this song called You Are Jehovah. I want everybody to dance with us, to celebrate as they come and dance this today. We're going to praise the name of the Lord. Those of you who are watching, thank you for joining us today. This has been a day of open heaven. God has kissed this day, and we're so blessed to be in the presence of Jesus and what he has done for us. I encourage you, I want this to go to the nations of the world. We have 3 nations God has opened up to take 40 young people, and I want you to give. We need $400,000. I'm declaring it's already done, and God's going to manifest it in the natural. He will use you to help with that. So give $5, $10, $50, $100, $1,000. Somebody may be able to get the whole amount. I want to encourage you to do that. Listen, God is faithful, and he will bless you for doing so. And I know that when you hear these testimonies and see the grace of God in your lives, you have to agree with me that that's worth fighting for. It is so precious to see it. Amen. God, you are Jehovah. We're going to celebrate in Jesus' name. Come on, let's go.